Let me tell you something weird about silence in the digital age. We live in a world where practically everything gets shared. Birthdays, coffee, sunsets, even pain with the perfect filter. But some people stay completely off the radar. They scroll, they watch, but they hardly ever post. You probably know someone like that. Maybe you are someone like that. And here's the question. Why would anyone choose to stay invisible when everyone's fighting for attention? It's tempting to think people who don't post are just shy. But there's a whole psychology behind it, one that says a lot about human nature and the quiet pushback against a culture obsessed with being seen. Before we dive deeper, if you're enjoying this exploration into the quiet minds among us, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more thought-provoking content, and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from. I'd love to know if you're one of the people who posts everything or someone who stays in the shadows. For some people, silence isn't emptiness. It's power. It's choosing what the world doesn't get to know. Social media has rewired how we define ourselves. It rewards showing off. It celebrates noise. But the people who hang back, they're often the ones seeing everything most clearly. They observe without needing to jump in. They think before they react. Psychologists have found something fascinating. People who rarely post tend to score higher on self-control, introspection, and emotional independence. They're less affected by social comparison or external validation. They're not trying to prove who they are. They're trying to understand it. And in a world drowning in performances, that's rare. Because honestly, most of what we post isn't just communication, it's identity construction. Every caption, every photo is basically saying, "This is who I am. Do you approve?" But when you stop posting, something shifts. You stop tying your worth to digital applause. You quit thinking in captions. You start experiencing moments for yourself again, not for the camera. That's the secret psychology. They're craving authenticity in a space where everything feels staged. They don't hate social media. They just can't find themselves in it anymore. It's not anti-tech or anti-social. It's refusing to reduce your life to highlight reels. Because once you've seen how easy it is to manipulate perception, you start valuing what can't be posted. Silence, depth, truth. For many, the decision comes after emotional burnout. They used to share everything, until one day it stopped feeling real. They realized every post came with invisible pressure to keep topping themselves. They weren't living anymore. They were performing, so they quit quietly. No announcement, just a slow fade. But here's what people get wrong. Not posting doesn't mean not feeling. Often it means they care too much about being present, about meaning, about protecting what's sacred. There's a concept called psychological ownership, the feeling that something belongs deeply to you. When you post it, that ownership fades. The moment becomes public property, open to judgment and misinterpretation. So some people who don't post are protecting their sense of ownership over their own lives. They keep their moments untouchable, private, pure. And maybe that's not withdrawal. Maybe it's freedom. Think about it. When's the last time you did something meaningful without feeling the urge to share it? That reflex isn't natural, it's learned. It's a decade of likes and dopamine hits training our brains to equate validation with value. When someone steps outside that system, it's both rebellion and healing. They rediscover doing things just for themselves. Cooking without photographing it, traveling without tagging it, feeling without explaining it. But not everyone who doesn't post does it from peace. Some are driven by fear of judgment or being misunderstood. Social media amplified what psychologists call self-presentational anxiety, the constant awareness that you're being watched, even when you're not. For many, that's exhausting. They want to be seen but truly seen, not just glanced at. Ironically, the quietest people online often have the loudest minds. They're not absent. They're overflowing. They just choose stillness over spectacle. In a world constantly screaming, "Look at me," choosing invisibility becomes self-definition. It's saying, "I exist beyond your perception." They understand something most don't. Not everything you experience is meant to be witnessed. Sometimes the most profound things, growth, grief, transformation, happen quietly, unseen, unposted. And being unseen isn't the same as being insignificant. It's where real identity gets formed, not performed. Here's the paradox. Social media was designed to connect us, yet it often leaves people feeling isolated. When you stop posting, you quit chasing digital closeness and start rebuilding real connections. You notice who checks in without needing updates. You learn who remembers you without reminders. That connection, raw, unbroadcasted, feels infinitely more real. Part of this is identity security, knowing who you are even when nobody's watching. When you're comfortable with yourself, you don't need an audience to validate your worth. That's not arrogance, that's peace. And ironically, people who don't post often have the most interesting stories, but they save them for when you're sitting across from them, not staring at a screen. The longer someone stays away from social media, the more differently they see the world. Colors look richer, time feels slower, conversations feel fuller. When you stop performing, you start experiencing. There's quiet beauty in moving through life without needing proof of every step. The psychology goes deeper than preference. Every time we post and get attention, our brain releases dopamine, the same chemical tied to addiction. Over time, we crave that validation. We think in terms of shareable experiences instead of real ones. Someone who resists that loop, that's not disinterest, that's discipline. People who don't post often have a strong internal locus of control. Their sense of worth comes from within, not external approval. Studies show that people who take long breaks from social media experience measurable increases in emotional stability and life satisfaction. When your identity isn't constantly reflected back to you, it becomes solid, real. You're living life in all its messy, beautiful complexity. That's the real rebellion, staying whole in a world that rewards fragments. Sometimes silence hides exhaustion. Social media became a place where people looked for connection but ended up drained. There's emotional fatigue from watching everyone's highlight reels while piecing together your own reality. Eventually, some step back out of self-preservation. They realize they don't owe the world a performance or an explanation for their silence. That's the quiet truth. We've confused visibility with value. We assume that to matter, we must be noticed. But real meaning doesn't need witnesses. The most meaningful moments, the ones that shape who you are, often happen without anyone watching. No cameras, no captions, no audience, just you. People who don't post know that privacy isn't loneliness. It's intimacy with yourself. When you stop broadcasting every thought, you start hearing your own again. You reconnect with parts of you lost in the noise. That's not withdrawal. That's homecoming. When psychologists talk about authentic self-expression, they emphasize congruence, alignment between who you are inside and who you show the world. But in the age of filters, that alignment gets distorted. When someone chooses not to post, it might be their way of staying congruent, preserving that truth between their inner and outer worlds. Here's the paradox. Those who live quietly often feel life most intensely. They're not distracted by performing it. They absorb details others miss. They are present. And presence is the rarest currency in a world built on attention. There's quiet confidence in not needing to be known by everyone, just understood by a few. People who don't post know that not every truth is meant for the masses. Some parts of you deserve to remain untouched by algorithms and opinions. Because once something becomes public, it stops being purely yours. So the next time you notice someone who never posts, don't assume they're hiding. Maybe they're just living. Maybe they found peace in quiet corners not lit by the blue glow of a screen. Maybe they remembered what we forgot. That being unseen doesn't mean being alone. That being quiet doesn't mean being empty. That sometimes the truest expression of who you are is silence. Because in the end, we're not meant to be performances. We're meant to be people. And the people who don't post, they remind us of that. Every quiet, unfiltered, beautifully invisible day. If this resonated with you, show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.